Marcus Conte reporting on a very historical moment. Bernie Sanders has dropped out of the presidential race. Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, you heard, has dropped out. And he cited a couple of reasons why. One was coronavirus. He has endorsed Joe Biden. He is out of the race at the most critical time in American history, when you're supposed to fight, when you're supposed to put your dukes up and fight. Bernie Sanders decided to drop out. Let's listen.
Which takes me to the state of our presidential campaign. I wish I could give you better news, but I think you know the truth. And that is that we are now some 300 delegates behind Vice President Biden, and the path toward victory is virtually impossible. So while we are winning the ideological battle, and while we are winning the support of so many young people and working people throughout the country, I have concluded that this battle for the Democratic nomination will not be successful. And so today, I am announcing the suspension of my campaign.
No mention of the rigging. He didn't mention rigging. No, it's just I'm dropping out. So that's his official statement. The rest is really fluff, but no mention of the rigging, right? So what changes? Nothing, right?
Please know that I do not make this decision lightly. In fact, it has been a very difficult and painful decision. Over the past few weeks, Jane and I, in consultation with top staff and many of our prominent supporters, have made an honest assessment of the prospects for victory. If I believed we had a feasible path to the nomination, I would certainly continue the campaign.
He said an honest assessment. An honest assessment. Even a jackass could tell you that the election is rigged and that you folded like a cheap suit, that you refused to call out the irregularities across the country in the exit polling, the stacking of too many candidates when you were the favorite, when you were the winner in 2016, the cheating in 2016. Honest assessment?
But it's just not there. I know that there may be some in our movement who disagree with this decision, who would like us to fight on to the last ballot cast at the Democratic Convention.
Not this supporter. I think you should drop out. You should have dropped out. The second you said Joe Biden is my friend, I think he could beat Trump, you should have dropped out. The second you refused to acknowledge the grotesque level of election rigging, you should have dropped out. Now it's just a matter of, now it's a formality.
I understand that position. But as I see the crisis gripping the nation, exacerbated by a president unwilling or unable to provide any kind of credible leadership, and the work that needs to be done to protect people in this most desperate hour, I cannot, in good conscience, continue to mount a campaign that cannot win and which would interfere with the important work required of all of us in this difficult hour.
And right there, he blames coronavirus in this difficult hour where I cannot win. That's the assessment of a loser. You fight, Bernie. Well, again, Bernie wasn't the candidate, but certainly that is very revealing. That he said in this moment of crises, we're going to fold. No, the opposite. You do the opposite, Bernie Sanders. You do the opposite. When you're down, you fight. God damn it. God damn it. That's his legacy right there. So am I fair to say that Bernie Sanders just blamed coronavirus for pushing him over the edge to drop out? Sure sounded like he did.
But let me say this very emphatically. As you all know, we have never been just a campaign. We are a grassroots, multiracial, multi-generational movement which has always believed that real change never comes from the top on down, but always from the bottom on up. We have taken on Wall Street, the insurance companies, the drug companies, the fossil fuel industry, the military-industrial complex, the prison-industrial complex, and the greed of the entire corporate elite. That struggle continues.
He sure did take on all those powerful people. He sure did point to the flaws in the system. He sure did educate the American people on all of the problems of income and wealth inequality, but he didn't do the fundamental number one numero uno thing you have to do to win an election, which is call out the rigging of the election. So without that, I mean, he also blamed Russia, said Bernie Sanders was part of the Russia nonsense, blaming Russia for Russia rigged the election, but not the Democratic Party. So it's just foul.
While this campaign is coming to an end, our movement is not.
Well, at least for you, it's not. For the most part, people are going to stay home. I mean, anybody. I mean, the only reason to vote for Sanders, the only reason to vote was because of Sanders and the policies he stood for. But now he's bowing out and throwing his weight to Biden. You'll see in a second. It's just, just leave it blank. That's the new hashtag. Leave it blank. You can vote, but leave the fucking presidency, Democratic primary shit blank.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us that, quote, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice, end quote. The fight for justice is what our campaign has been about. The fight for justice is what our movement remains about. Today, I congratulate Joe Biden, a very decent man, who I will work with to move our progressive ideas forward. On a practical note, let me also say...
You'll be doing that all by yourself. All by yourself, Bernie.
say this. I will stay on the ballot and all remain...
Two senile old men limping to the finish line. That's good. Right? Trump is 100%. Trump wins. 100% Trump wins.
...remaining states and continue to gather delegates. While Vice President Biden will be the nominee, we must continue working. Let me also say this. I will stay on the ballot in all remaining states and continue to gather delegates.
I'll stay on the ballot in all the states and gather gather delegates. Yeah, so for what? For what? This is where it gets ridiculous, right? Well, you're going to stay on the ballot. I'm not voting. Fuck you. You already dropped out, you fucking phony. You quitter.
While Vice President Biden will be the nominee, we must continue working to assemble as many delegates as possible at the Democratic Convention, where we will be able to exert significant influence over the party platform and other functions.
Now, if you roll the tape back, he just said something so ridiculous and so funny. You remember in 2016, Bernie Sanders assembled a group of people to fight for the Democratic platform. The platform is bullshit. The platform is an empty statement that the president, the nominee, is supposed to follow, but never does. All right, they take that. Yeah. They just get your people to vote for Joe Biden, and we'll give you a platform. We'll give you some lines in the platform. What a waste of fucking time that was. It's just a totally frivolous argument. Frivolous argument by Bernie Sanders to stay in the race, gather his delegates, and make his stupid speech at the stupid DNC convention, and tell everybody to vote for stupid Biden if he's even still alive by then. What a disaster. This is worse than coronavirus.
Then together, standing united, we will go forward to defeat Donald Trump, the most dangerous president in modern American history. And we will fight to elect strong progressives at every level of government, from Congress to the school board. As I hope all of you know, this race has never been about me. I ran for the presidency because I believed that as a president, I could accelerate and institutionalize the progressive changes that we are all building together. And if we keep organizing and fighting, I have no doubt but that is exactly what will happen. While the path may be slower now, we will change this nation, and with like-minded friends around the globe, change the entire world. On a very personal note, speaking for Jane, myself, and our entire family, we will always carry in our hearts the memory of the extraordinary people we have met across this country. We often hear about the beauty of America, and this country is incredibly beautiful. But to me, the beauty I will remember most is in the faces of the people we have met from one corner of this nation to the other. The compassion, love, and decency I have seen in them makes me so hopeful for our future. It also makes me more determined than ever to work to create a nation that reflects those values and lifts up all of our people. Please stay in this fight with me. Let us go forward together. The struggle continues. Thank you all very much.
Wow, I got a lot to say about that. I don't feel the warm, fuzzy feeling anymore, though. I got to tell you, man, I'm not feeling it, man. Bernie Sanders is just I don't feel that warm, fuzzy feeling. But you know what? Let's get some comic relief before we go. I fucking look at Trump. Trump is saying, Bernie Sanders is out. Thank you to Elizabeth Warren. If not for her, Bernie would have won almost every state on Super Tuesday. This ended just like the Democrats and DNC wanted. Same as crooked Hillary fiasco. The Bernie people should come to the Republican Party. Trade. Trump is out there campaigning already. You think Trump is going to waste any time? You think Trump is going to be nice with Sleepy Joe Biden? Oh, my God, he's going to fucking kill that guy. Wow, Bernie is unwilling to give up his delegates and wants more of them. What's that all about? Well, I just told you what it's all about, Trump. Look it up. It's about trying to get some lines in the platform, which means nothing, right? Which amounts to nothing. That the Democratic candidate, once if he should get elected, throws it in the garbage and just becomes the president, like every other president. Right? Another Trump tweet. Can't see AOC +3 supporting Sleepy Joe. I can, man. They'll do it sleepily, but they'll do it. They're not gonna see if there's anything more. Trump is still tweeting away. No, that's it. That's three tweets from Trump, right? So Marcus Conte reporting. I want to end on a little reading. It's I don't have much to say. I want to end on this, right? During the this is by Noam Chomsky said this in the Requiem for the American Dream. During the Great Depression, which I'm old enough to remember, and most of my family were unemployed working class, it was bad, much worse subjectively than today. But there was an expectation that things were going to get better. There was a real sense of hopefulness. There was a real sense of hopefulness. There isn't today. Inequality is really unprecedented. If you look at total inequality, it's like the worst periods of American history. But if you refine it more closely, the inequality comes from the extreme wealth in a tiny sector of the population, a fraction of 1%. There were periods like the Gilded Age in the 1920s and the Roaring 90s and so on, when a situation developed rather similar to this. Now, this period's extreme, because if you look at the wealth distribution, the inequality mostly comes from super wealthy. Literally, the top 1/10 of 1% are just super wealthy. Not only is it extremely unfair, not only is it extremely unjust in itself, inequality has highly negative consequences on the society as a whole, because the very fact of inequality has a corrosive, harmful effect on democracy. You're open to talks about the American dream. Part of the American dream is class mobility. You're born poor, you work hard, you get rich. It was possible for a worker to get a decent job, buy a home, get a car, have his children go to school. It's all collapsed. So that's Noam Chomsky. So Marcus Conte reporting. Bernie Sanders, what is the legacy? there'll be months and years to talk about the legacy of Bernie Sanders. But the immediate question is, will Bernie Sanders' supporters move over and support Joe Biden? I just fundamentally don't believe that. I think Joe Rogan said it best. I can't vote for that guy. I can't vote for that guy. At least Trump is, the guy's inconsistent. So will Bernie Sanders' people move over to Biden and potentially make him able to beat Trump? I said it from day one. It was Bernie or bust. This is bust. This is bust. There's a 100% chance that Trump wins. The Bernie people are not necessarily Bernie people at all. They're people that stand on policy. And you've got guys like Joe Biden out there saying right now that he would veto Medicare for all if it came across his desk. Even if the people wanted it, he would still veto it. So Marcus Conte reporting on this day where Bernie Sanders has officially dropped out of the rigged primary. No mention of the rigging of the primary. In a casual way, he blamed the coronavirus for it. In a casual way, he's endorsed Joe Biden for president. And in a casual way, the Democrats will lose to Donald Trump. Marcus Conte reporting.